Let's talk for a moment about the assignments I want you to do. So, when you're going in here, this should be relatively easy, right? Trying to find the assignments in here, going to the syllabus module. You're going to read the syllabus. Most of the rules about everything are in the syllabus. So the syllabus is a really important document. So the first thing you're going to have to be able to do is find the syllabus, which is one of the first tricks I want students to learn is to find things. And I want to make sure that you have access to those things. So don't grab the syllabus from somebody else, go into your own shell, click on the thing by yourself, and make sure that you yourself know how to get there. Okay. So go in there where it says course syllabus, go where it says course overview, open this up, go where it says course syllabus, click on the link where it says syllabus document, click on this, and that's your syllabus. Now you want to download this. You can do this by just saying save as, and then you can save it, wherever you want to save it at, or you can print it out if that makes you feel better. The syllabus tells you all kinds of different things. It tells you my name and contact information. It tells you my boss's name and my boss's contact information. It tells you what you're supposed to learn. So other people can go back and say, hey, what did they actually learn in this class? So this is the stuff we're responsible for teaching you, or this is the stuff that I say, well, student X is capable of doing this at the end. So that's what we're going to get out of here. Um, this is, educational mumbo jumbo that you can read through if you want to. Read through these. There are participation rules. There's a little thing called attendance verification. So college students have to do this in order to get financial aid. And everybody has to be done with this in order for anybody to get financial aid. There's other things. These things are long and convoluted because they're basically a legal document. Now, you guys don't have the Spotlight instruction requirement, um, but if you want to go to Spotlight, you can. So what Spotlight is it's a topic-based instruction series with a different instructor that meets with students in 112 online to talk to them about the material or work with the material. Now, it happens to be your lucky or unlucky day in that I am currently the only Bio 112 Spotlight instructor. So if you were to come to my course, if you were to come to my Spotlight instruction session, we would literally be talking about, I would be the one doing the instructions. I wouldn't necessarily, though, be talking about the exact things we're talking about right now because Spotlight has its own schedule, and it may or may not be completely may or may not completely jive with what your schedule is. Um, so read through this exam information. This is how grades are calculated. We can talk about the details of that. And then here's the calendar. So here's where um, what you're supposed to do by what time. And then here you've got the midterm exam and the final exam. So that's your syllabus, a very, very important document, and you should keep track of the information in the syllabus. Okay, after the syllabus, you read through this. The syllabus quiz then asks you questions about the syllabus. Then you have the syllabus agreement where you're just basically filling in your contact information. And similarly to before, you click on here and you find the document. And again, make sure you find the document yourself. Don't let your buddy find the document for you. And if it doesn't work, if you can't find the document yourself, you and I need to get together and make sure, or you and I, or you and your instructor need to get together to make sure that you can get there. Because if you can't get there, it's probably not your fault. There's probably something wrong with the settings. And I want to make sure in this week, when it's not that important and not that critical, and things are not that difficult, I want to make sure in this week that we can get you to where you need to go, and we get all the access issues taken care of, before you're scrambling trying to learn all the things you're supposed to learn, and then on top of that don't have access to the materials. Okay, so do this yourself, each of you. All right. Back to content. Um, so that's those two. Now, in this chapter, and this is probably where you have more questions than anything else. Let's jump right into well, actually, let's go real quick to the chapter, just real quick, because I want you to read the chapter. Make sure you read the chapter. Um, if there's a demo lecture, make sure you listen to that. So read the chapter, um, and try to make notes as you read the chapter. One of the things I'm trying to get you to do here is what's called active learning. Active learning means you need to do something with the material. So you can passively sit there, and this is a lot of students in college do this. They just passively sit there, and the instructor just talks about the PowerPoint, right? And the students sit there, and then they listen to the PowerPoint, and then they go home, and they look at the PowerPoint, and then they go to the exam, and they're surprised that they don't know any of the material. What you need to do is you need to work with the material. So you need to have so when you're listening to the PowerPoint or you're listening to the video, you should be keeping notes. Not everything, but just the things that are important. And then you go back with those notes. You go back to the book. And you say, all right, so I caught this thing and this thing and this thing. Where does it write? Where is this in the book? And what does it say about the book? And then you, between those two things and maybe the internet on top of that, you create yourself your own study materials, where you organize it in such a way that it makes sense for you. And we're going to talk about in a second what that means, that it makes sense for you. What kinds of things make sense to different people. But so here's the chapters, so you can read through those, and we'll talk about how to read textbooks next week when we talk about the second chapter, because it's a little denser than this one. Excuse my dog. Back into assignments over here. So um, after you read the chapter, make sure you read you try to answer the questions in the. Hang on, I'm going to have to pause till my dog stops barking. All right, back. I hope the dog is done now. Okay, so the chapter 1 quiz, you just click on it. And then when you click on it, you click on View Assessment. And these questions are basically the questions that are in the back of the chapter. It's not all of them, it's some of them. But the plan is for you to have 3 attempts. And clearly I need to fix that to make sure you get 3 attempts. So anytime you don't have at least 3 attempts, except for in exams, let me know so I can fix that. Because I want you to learn things from your assignments, and I want you to learn from your mistakes. I don't want this to be high stakes testing. My dog hates the neighbor's cat, so anytime she's around, we have a problem. But yes, back to chapter 1 quiz. So you do the quiz, and you can do this quiz, I believe, 3 times, and I'll fix that problem. Then after you do the quiz, I have this assignment here about the study notes. The study notes, I'm asking you to do study notes. What I want you to do is basically take a picture of the things you do. And what I mean with that is, like, for example, if you're looking at the book, so number one, when you're looking at a book, what you want to do is you want to keep notes as you're looking at the book. But the other thing you want to do is, let's talk about the study notes assignment real quick. It's kind of an open assignment, and that's one of the things that you're going to have to get used to it a little bit with me. That I sometimes make open assignments, and oftentimes I give you an assignment that's an open assignment because I just want to see what you do with it. Um, I want to gauge where you are so that I can figure out what else I need to teach you. So there's not necessarily a right or wrong here. There is just an effort. So I want to kind of get an idea of how you go about getting through this material and figuring out, you know, organizing it. A lot of what education is organization in your head, or on a piece of paper. And one of the things we know from educational research is we know that if you work with your hands and you draw things and you make things up, that'll help you. That'll help you study. That'll help you retain the material. And so I want you to do that. I want you to work with your hands, try to kind of organize things. And most textbooks, expensive textbooks, they do this for you. And they're not actually doing you a favor when they do this for you. So let's look at our textbook real quick. So this is an example from the second chapter of your book. And one of the things that I want you to see here is this part here. It says there are four types of bonds or interactions: ionic, covalent, hydrogen bonds, and van der Waals interactions. And that comes under the title ionic bonds. If you were to write this in your English class, your English instructor would go, no, 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 no. That's not how that goes, right? You would be corrected in saying, hang on, let me try to move this over so you can see it. Your English instructor would say, no, 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 you have to say it's bonds, right? Um, and well, we'd make you spell it correctly too. So bonds. And then there are four types of bonds or interactions. And then you can say, okay, ionic, covalent, all right, what else we got? Hydrogen bonds and van der Waals. Ionic, covalent, hydrogen, hydrogen, and van der Waals. And so, four types of bonds. Where's our little, hang on, go find this thing. There it is. And so this is how you could write it on your piece of paper, right? On your piece of paper, you could say, no, 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 it's bonds. And then there are four different types of bonds. And let's talk about else. What else do we know about those four types of bonds? So if you're going to start out with your notes like this, what else do we know about these bonds? So in the ionic bond, we have this, right? So in the ionic bond, one of the electrons goes entirely over, is transferred entirely over um, to the other atom. And so the attraction actually just comes between the positive and the negative charge that now exists between those two atoms. So, and then the covalent bond, you have a shared atom. So oxygen and hydrogen. Now there's a special kind of covalent bond, right? So the covalent bond, there's two types of the covalent bonds. There's a non-polar covalent bond and a polar covalent bond. So if you go back to your notes here, you could then go in there and say, okay, wait a minute, we had covalent, so there was polar covalent and non-polar covalent. All right, let's see what else we know. And then you have pictures here, what these look like, and so you can group them. Now, if you think more in pictures, like I think of these things very much in pictures, and I'm going to hang on, I'm going to draw something real quick how I think of these things.